Hey guys, tonight I got an interesting subject. Why do a lot of expats go after girls that are impoverished or poor or from the provinces? And one of the writers wrote, his name was Mark, he was asking, do expats use income inequality to kind of keep control on these girls? And in some cases I would say yes, that's true, they probably do. And in some cases I would say no. Some of the relationships actually do work out. We see some of the vloggers there with poorer girls. I would say this, that most of the girls a good chunk of the girls in the Philippines are in poverty. Now, when I say poverty to us is different than poverty in the U.S. Okay, poverty to us over here is different than back home, and I'm going to explain to you why, and then we're going to get into this whole subject. Like somebody over here that's making $12,000 a year is that's a good chunk of money for a Filipino over here to be making $12,000. Most don't make that. You'd have to be a doctor, an attorney, or somewhere pretty close to that height. But most doctors and lawyers and attorneys make more than $1,000 a month. But some of them that are on payroll, government payrolls or whatever, and they work for the government, they make right around there, a little bit more. It's not a lot of money. So the average pay around here is like $400 to $600, somewhere around there, for the average pay each month for the average Filipino. Now, to us in the United States, we say, wow, that's they're really living in poverty. But it's a different type of poverty over here, because over here their middle class is different. To us, their middle class would be more like impoverished. In the United States, we got our big McDonald, big whatever those homes that they call the huge ones. They got 4 or 5 bedrooms or whatever, and they're huge, and the electric bill's like $400 a month or $500 a month or whatever to run them. The big McMansions, they call them. Back home, our ideas about being rich and Filipinos' ideas about being rich are totally two different things. It's like living on a different planet over here financially. Financially, it's a different world over here. It just is. It's people and the culture kind of dictate a different lifestyle over here than what we're used to in the U.S. In the U.S., we're used to having everything like that, really quick, fast. We want it now, and we want it clean. We want it nice. We want it to look good. We want it this and that. Filipinos aren't worried about that as much. And also remember that the pay rates are different over here. Now, somebody living out in the provinces that lives in a pretty ramshackle home or something like that, some of these guys are okay with being with some of those girls. But is it a control issue? I think some older men think of that as a control issue because they're worried because of their age, that, hey, I might lose this girl because I'm getting older. I don't want to look like an aging rock star, over here, and then have the girl leave me or something. I just don't want to look like that. You see these aging rock stars out there, and they don't look that good. Let's face it. A lot of them, and some of them do. But I mean, a lot of these guys, they're not looking good. They got the big gut. They got all of us are aging. We're getting into our elder years. We're trying to exercise as much as we can and look good. I mean, I'm not the perfect picture of health here. I'm in my going into my 60s, just heading into my 60s. And is a girl gonna stay with you that's impoverished and poor, just because you got a little bit of money? I don't think so. A lot of guys have this tendency to believe that that's true. It depends also how you're gonna treat her, how you're gonna treat her family. That's a big one too with a lot of these girls. So some of these guys have some money to throw around. And over here, if you got $2,000 or $3,000 in your pocket, you got a little bit of money to throw around. And the girls think that if you give their family $100 or $200 a month, that their family is doing good off of you, and they'll stay with you. And sometimes that's just a thought, and sometimes it's not. Some of the girls think they're doing pretty good if they get a few extra bucks, but then after a while they get kind of tired of it. They look at you aging. They look at one of the guys down the street or something like that that's 10, 20, 30 years younger than you, because they're younger than you, and in a lot of the cases that's the way it is. So they're going to look at those people and say, geez, this guy's working, he has a good job, he can take care of me, and I really don't care about the money anymore. I'm not about the money anymore. They kind of grow out of that. Young girls think about the money. You know, older people start thinking different. They think about their happiness. And I see a lot of women over here that are still poor, but they're happy. They're happy because they're living life on their terms, not somebody else's terms. Remember that. Most people want to live on their terms, at least somewhat, whether it be with somebody else or without somebody else sometimes. You know, and you know, you have to think about the different levels of poverty over here. It's certainly different. But there are guys over here that do want to do have some control issues. And then also we have this here. A lot of guys come over here, they're looking for somebody that is, I'll say, more upscale. They're looking for a city girl that has a job, possibly even a college education or what have you. They're looking for a different type of girl, you know, somebody that they can wake up in the morning and have a conversation with, and you know, not somebody that they can't have a conversation with. A lot of these girls from the provinces, some of them have problems speaking English, so they can't have a real conversation with that person. You want a person with an education. A lot of these guys are looking for girls that worked in the fields and had a fifth grade education and can't get a job even in the city. If you find the type of girl, you're probably not going to be happy. And let me say this. This is the key thing here, is that some of these girls are way more street smart than any of you old codgers out there. Remember that. You know, all of us old codgers, you know, we don't have the street smarts that some of these girls have. Some of these girls, when you go to break off with them, man, they're gonna go after you. You know what I mean? That's the way some of these girls work, because back home, or their friends that they have around them or whatever, are talking them into saying, oh man, if he leaves you, you should do this here, you should do that there, because they listen to their friends. Their friends don't have an education. What do you think they're getting in their minds? You want an educated woman, and even an educated woman might do that over here too. A lot of Filipinas, when they lose a man, they feel like they have to do something like get that guy back or whatever. Even if you didn't do anything to the person, they feel like that you deserve a little payback for what they gave you. Maybe they feel like you did take advantage of them and they have to do something to you because of that. Think of it that way, you know, and that could be true. It might not be true, you know. So most of the guys over here that I see going through some of the stuff that a lot of us expats over here have gone through, I'm going to tell you right now, you wouldn't wish it upon anybody. You know, you feel bad for the expats, and I know a lot of these expats have been, you know, really nice guys, and they don't deserve the crap that they've gone through with some of these women over here. So you got to be careful. Be extra careful over here. It's not fun going through that stuff. And don't think that because a girl has a higher education or a lower education, you're going to get away from it. You're going to get some of it on the way out the door. In most cases, you're going to get some of that on the way out the door. And I'm not saying all Filipino girls are like that, so don't get me wrong. Most Filipinos will not do this. It's like probably anywhere from 10 to 50% will give you some hell on the way out the door. And it's the same way in the US. It's the same way over in Europe. You'll get some hell. But over here, it's a new hell. And it's a little bit on a higher level than in most countries. I think it's part of the culture over here, the way things work. They just want to put you through living hell, and try to walk away from it. Maybe you need to get up and move, or maybe even sometimes in some cases go back to the US if it's that bad. You know. Anyway, guys, God bless. Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's show, and be careful.